Hey guys, in this video we're going to do some modifications to the Traxxas Sledge. Now we've broke a couple of parts in this thing over time. Not a huge deal. We broke a drive axle in the front and we blew a servo, which we've already replaced, and that helped a lot because the steering went away almost right away, and we've never been super excited about Traxxas electronics in the first place. That's already done, but in this video we're going to change out the front drive axles and put a hardened set in there from GPM. This is not a sponsored video by anywhere. That we just went and bought these parts and we want to test them out and see how they work. GPM also came out with a differential change for the center that allows the motor to mount right to the differential, so that separation that you can get when things loosen up in the sledge should go away. We're going to get that in there and see how that thing goes in. Also, this from Reaction RC is a grab handle, and there's really no place on the back of that car to grip it unless you grab an arm or something, and there's rotating parts in there if you accidentally bump the trigger. So we try to stay away from those. You can get burned on the tires, it can grab you with one of the drive cups, just not a good thing to do. This grab handle should go right under the wing so you can grip it and rip it whenever you want. This should be a pretty cool build, guys. Check this out. Let's have a look at the damage here. The shattered CV joint is right back in here. That happened under an impact landing. Okay, we need to get this front hub apart. So let's back out the grub screw here. And we got to push this pin through. There we go. We also need to disconnect the steering linkage so we can get this whole unit off. This can be a little snug. There we go. I've got to hang on to that. And out comes the broken axle. Look at that. So that's actually a shattered CV. We'll remove that from the housing. And here's the parts we're replacing it with. Nice big. It's got a lot of girth to it. Look at the difference in size. It's a lot thicker. It does have a little more weight, but it's not too much. Now we have to fish this up in there, and it can be a little tight, so I just give it a little twist with the screwdriver and it goes right in. Reconnect the steering linkage. Nice and smooth. Nice. Now let's get that grub screw out. The packet actually came with new ones, but this already has the Loctite on it, which is the factory Loctite, and it did work real well, so we're going to use it again. Make sure and flush that pin out so that it doesn't hang out on either side. And it was just that easy. There we go. Now let's go after the center diff and motor assembly. I want to get these wires off first. There we go. They can be a little tight. Get rid of those. And we want to break these loose first. You need a good wrench, one that's got a really good head on it. These are pretty tight. So break them loose with a wrench first, and then since it's metal on metal, you can speed them out with a gun afterwards. So you get them broke loose, and then just rip them out. And this piece is going away here. But it's pretty cool in its design, really. And we need to get that upper T-brace off. And the back, it's going to require removing the wheel and tire. There we go. There it is. Now these can stick in there a little bit, you just got to work it out. There you go. Now let's break the bottom part loose. And we did add Loctite to this, so these are really stubborn, but the wrench is new and it does grip pretty well. So we'll get them broke loose with this, then we'll back them out with the gun. And you definitely want to hang on to that when you take the last bolt out. And there it is. Go ahead and finish getting the casing off of here. There we go. Look at the design work in that. That's pretty cool. And we're just going to stick them back together because we don't want to lose any of the components. So we'll just like roughly stick them in there. And now we have the motor mount assembly. All right, this little block has to go too. That is a spacing block between the spur gear and the pinion. And so you change the size of that depending on the pinion you have. We won't need that anymore either. So let's go ahead and get the center differential cap off here and have a look at that. There we go. Nice. That's pretty cool too. I like the build. Let's get that differential out. And that's got some really hefty oil in it. There it is. Center differential mount right there. And that's it complete right there. Looks pretty cool. So this is what we're going to replace it with. And this is made out of that 7075 T6 aluminum, and it should be pretty sturdy. Feels good in the hand, and the parts look well made. So let's get the pinion off so we can get that mounted. There we go, line up the holes. And since we're going into metal, let's make sure and get some Loctite on everything. Nice and tight. That should hold it. Not a lot of adjustment, but it does have some. Differential bearing drops right on. Smooth. Go ahead and set that pinion in there. And just a rough fit will do for now. We'll adjust it after it's in the car. I like the way the blue matches the chassis. It looks like it belongs there. We'll start one bolt at the bottom just to hold it in place. There we go. And then we'll get some Loctite on these to hold it so nothing moves. And then the top one didn't get Loctite yet, so we'll add some to that. Now don't tighten these down too much, just a little bit here. Hold it in place. Don't torque it yet. We'll get the front half in. And as with the back, don't torque these down yet. There's a reason for that. There you go. Now when we set the differential in there, those still needed to be a little bit loose so the diff could move a little bit while we put it together. So now that it's in there, we'll go ahead and build the top part. Bearing retainers. Slide those right into place. And they sit nice and flush. Everything feels good. Let's put the top cap on. Check the torque. There we go. Now let's put the big screws in, and this is actually what holds everything down. So this will actually capture the bearings doing these four. And then let's check the torque on everything here. Nice. And on the bottom, now we can torque these down because we needed that movement. Now that everything's in place, we don't need the movement anymore. We'll go ahead and connect the wiring. There we go, and we'll secure it in place. Let's put that T-bar back in. And I like the way that looks in the car. With the blue, it matches up to everything real nice. It looks like it was designed that way as far as from the factory. It really looks good in there. And it does give you adjustment now, so you can change pinions by just sliding that back and forth without changing all that block and getting everything squared up. Real nice. Put everything back together. There we go. Excellent. Sounds good. Now let's get that other component on there. So the grab handle is something that is really necessary. The back of that car is designed in such a way to where you can't really grip onto anything except an arm. And this should alleviate that problem. It'll give you something good to grip onto. It makes the car a lot easier to carry when your battery dies and you need to pack it back to the car. This is a real simple design, and the provided screws are longer so they will actually fit in the way they're supposed to. There we go. Now let's go ahead and secure our wiring. There we go. And there it is. So there you go, guys. Those are the updates that we're giving a shot here at the channel, and we'll take this out and test it thoroughly. But I gotta tell you, I've never been a fan of this setup. Now this is basically the same type of situation that you'd have with a gas engine. And this is the mount for the differential, and as you can tell, they're two different pieces, and if this walks a little bit, it destroys the differential. That, in my opinion, with the power that comes out of these electric cars, it's just not enough to do that. I'm hoping this GPM one really holds up good. This is kind of a neat idea, but we've seen so many people have these failures that it's just not funny anymore. So it's time to upgrade to something. There's many different companies that are making these. We're just trying the GPM one to see how it works, and it looks pretty well built, and it's made out of the 7075 T6 aluminum, so it should be good and durable. Also, the stock drive shafts, and this is the hub portion, this is the shaft portion. As you can see, it just destroyed this here, and the GPM ones are almost twice as thick. So they're way stronger looking. Hopefully those will hold up. They do add some weight to the car, but it didn't seem to be all that much, but it did add some. So that's something you might want to keep in mind. These ones here, they were working pretty well, but it just couldn't take it when we really threw the throttle at it coming down, and the differentials held up good, but the drive shafts just didn't hold in there. And the one thing that I think is pretty cool, and I don't know, it feels a little floppy in my opinion, but still, right here on the tail now, as you look, and we'll get on this side this time, as you look, there's no place to grab onto this car, nothing that counts. But now, with this handle here, you can grab it and carry it around with no problems. It seems to be up and out of the way. I don't know if it's gonna drag yet, but we'll figure out. It feels pretty good in the hand. It's not too bad, but it does look 3D printed, and it's a little wobbly side to side. If it holds up, that's fine. There won't be a problem with that. So there you go. Those are the updates that we're gonna give a shot at the channel, and we'll see how they hold up. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. It's awesome when you do, and don't forget that notification bell to stay informed of upcoming videos like this one. You know, the bench is one of my favorite places. We really enjoy the bashing, but the bench is where it shines for me. I love putting stuff together. I love taking things and making them work again, which is a really cool thing. If you guys have any other updates that you think belong in this video with the Traxxas Sledge, please feel free to leave it in the comments down below and help others along the way. Hey guys, I'm AJ with AJ Jam Studios saying, keep wrenching, guys.